Okay guys, 0.6 miles to a lighthouse. Don't mind if I do, and you're coming with me. Hello adventurers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're at Cape Disappointment where we're going to go on a short trail toward a lighthouse. I can't wait, this is going to be super amazing. And something kind of cool about Cape Disappointment is they have 2 lighthouses within their state park. Now this one is located right as you leave out of the Interpretive Center. You go down this short trail right here, but then we're going to drive to another one and check it out also. I can't wait. This is going to be epic. We're going to have some amazing views and we're going to get our walk on just a little bit. So let's go. Now the trail itself looks kind of like this and it's going to be 0.6 miles. We're going to get as close as we can. Now this is a great viewpoint of Fort Canby also, and if you didn't check out my Interpretive Center video, you'll want to go see a little bit more about this because it was awesome. But we have some walking to do. I will say this is not an ADA trail at all. There are roots all through it and it's not very even. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's kind of a little trek out here. It's 0.6 miles, but it's a 0.6 miles with this kind of stuff. And I'm turning around. Okay guys, a little change of plans, at least on my part. So, the trail we were on, super beautiful, very rainforest-like. We're in a temperate rainforest, so it's gorgeous. But today is a very warm day. And what does that mean whenever you're in an area like this? Snakes. Snakes. Oh yay! Snakes. Now, while I was walking down, I had gotten just a little bit further than the clip that I showed you last, and I got a text message from Riley. Riley had already gone ahead on the trail because she was doing some things on her own, and she said, yeah, there's snakes on the trail. And she just said it so passively, like it wasn't a big deal, not realizing that is my biggest fear, literally in life. When I tell you I froze, I literally froze in place with this camera in hand. I was about ready to vlog and then I was like, nope, that's it. Riley, my friend, said she physically saw snakes and I don't do snakes. So I did ask her if she was going to be coming back from where she was, if she could grab me a couple clips so I could show you guys what lighthouse number 1 looks like. But yeah, that ended my expedition today. While I was coming back to the car, ironically enough, I mentioned to someone, hey, be careful. My friend said that there were some snakes down there. And the woman looked at me and said, oh yeah, we saw a couple in that direction too. The direction I had come from. Oh my goodness, when I tell you that I grabbed new gear and ran back to the van, I definitely did. Now, for those of you who are shaking your head saying, okay, it's just a couple snakes, I am deathly afraid of snakes. I had a bad experience several years back where I ended up with a copperhead in my bathtub. After that, you don't see snakes the same. You don't give them an opportunity to look at them to determine if they're a good snake or a bad snake. They're just a snake, and it just causes this trigger reaction. So, this is the footage that Riley got for me. I'm super sad that I didn't get to come out actually to the lighthouse, but I hope you guys can understand. I did, however, record a little bit of footage that you could see from the Interpretive Center also, so I'm going to work that into here as well. But this is what lighthouse number 1 at Cape Disappointment looks like. And I must say, I'm a little disappointed. Not because of the lighthouse, it's epic, but because I'm so afraid. Dadgummit, dadgum you. Riley has returned from the trail, and let's ask her what she thought about this. Hang on. Ooh. Okay, so Riley.
Yeah.
So the trail, it was a difficult trail.
Yeah, it didn't seem that bad at first, but then it kind of goes down a little and then it goes up, and there are just like tree roots everywhere. So like, of course, I'm just like loo-to-do-to-do, enjoying my walk, and I trip over everything. And then once you get to a certain point, then there's this like paved, like, I don't know, trail all the way up to the lighthouse, and it was such a steep climb that I thought I was going to die.
So Riley did make it to the lighthouse.
I made it.
She got us some footage.
Some.
We don't need a lot, but you guys are seeing that in this video. But more importantly, how many stinky snakes did you see?
Okay, so I saw 2 confirmed. I was trying to trick myself, like maybe it's like the lizard's tail, but it slithered a lot. And then I saw Tyson chasing after another thing, which I didn't see what it was, but I saw like the grass move in such a way that it was like too slithery looking.
And this is why I did not complete the trail. Again, guys, I have discussed many times on the channel my fear of snakes. And so it's one of those things. And when Riley said that, I don't think she understood the sheer terror that comes over my entire being. In fact, what happens whenever I hear snake is I just freeze and everything in my being tightens up. When I tighten up, it instantly becomes almost a painful, crippling fear. And this is something that I've been trying to work through like the vast majority of my life, and it hasn't gone anywhere yet. So this is my hard no. Snakes. Snakes are my hard no. But that doesn't mean we can't have a beautiful view here on the channel. So with that said, this is the footage that Riley captured for us, and I appreciate her more than anything. Okay, so we made it to the other lighthouse, and I'm super excited because this one looks a bit more open, and so we're gonna see if we can't get some beautiful views and a little bit of history while we're here. Now there is another path that goes up this way. It's called Bell's View Overlook, and there is a discovery trail right over here. So this is a really busy little spot to park, but also a lot of activities that you can find from it. So I am so excited. Okay, so this is where we currently are. We're in the North Head area, and there is a lighthouse and lighthouse residence, and it's a 0.5-mile loop trail. Now part of this is paved, so we're going to go on the part that's paved if possible. There's also the Bell View right here that we just talked about, and then there's another one that leads out of here also called the North Trailhead, and that'll take you all the way down to Mackenzie Head, and then you can follow the roadway then to get back to where we were this morning, where we were at the Cape Disappointment Trail. Now this one is really nice because it has some interpretive signs that tell you a little bit more of the story itself and also give you a layout map. And what we're seeing right here is actually the keeper's duplex. So you can see right up here is where the keeper would actually live, and then here is the assistant or first and second keeper's duplex, and then over here they have the garages, the carriage, the chicken coops, and they even have their own water tower. But out here is where we find the actual North Head Lighthouse. Now we learned in Oregon that a lot of times the lighthouse keepers would not actually stay in the lighthouse. They would stay on property in homes like this, but there were a few rare ones that they would actually stay in the lighthouse full time, and so that's kind of interesting. But as we go along this trail, I'm going to see if there's any more signs to tell us a little bit more, and this should be a beautiful view, so let's go. Now on this property they do still have these buildings which are beautiful, and there's a sign here saying that you can actually stay in these buildings, so that would be something to definitely look into in the future. Gorgeous, gorgeous location. Apparently they also have a gift shop up there, so that's interesting too. Now to visit this location you do have to have a Discover Pass, and it has to be displayed in your vehicle as you come into the park itself. Discover Passes are available for day or for year-long use, and the prices vary based on location. However, at this location it's $10 for a single day or $30 for an annual pass, which is what I did. Now, if you're interested in the state park passes as well as the national passes, I am going to be doing a video very soon to discuss some of the differences and also the price points. And I think that it'll be interesting for you guys because something I've learned is if you're in a state and you go to more than one place within that state, it's worth it just to get the annual pass a lot of times. For example, I have the Discover Pass here in Washington because I know I'm going to stop off at more than one spot. Now, if I were to do day passes and it were $10 a spot and I visited 3 spots, the annual pass is paid for itself. And then I can also get some accessibility to camping sites that you can only camp at if you have the Discover Pass. So that is a super cool fun fact for you guys. But again, we'll go into more detail overall in a future video. Wow, look at this. It's so beautiful, guys. It's so beautiful. Now, it is kind of nice that this trail is ADA accessible, so you could definitely get down here. So even though you can't go to the other one, you can definitely come to this one. And this walk is beautiful. It's nice and shaded. There's moments where you kind of get into the sun and it feels so warm. And then you get back in the shade and it's a little breezy. Woohoo! But we're getting pretty close already. And I can't wait. This is gonna be so fabulous today and a perfect way to cap off this video for you guys. Whew, although I will say the hat is trying to blow away, so we're gonna take it off because whew, we almost lost it, and this is my mountain house hat. We don't want to lose this one. I love this one. Now again, the reason why Cape Disappointment has 2 lighthouses is because there are 2 very distinct peninsulas right here. In fact, the one we're going toward right now has a very different view than the one that we could see over in this direction, and you can't even see that other lighthouse. So it's kind of fascinating. But along this pathway, like many others, we have some interpretive signs, so let's see a little bit more. Oh wow, this is interesting. It says here that before the North Jetty on the Columbia River was completed in 1917, most of the land in front of us did not exist. In fact, the seaside looked like this instead, and they have some things marked here that show you this is where the present day campground is located, and this is something called Elephant Rock. And then you can also see over here there's something called Dead Man's Hollow. It was a small curve, and it was reportedly named that because of all of the deceased mariners who frequently washed ashore from this area into this area. When we look out at that area now, it looks like this. Very different than the rocky crags we once could see. And in fact, the forested wetland area is where Dead Man's Hollow used to be. Here you can see a beautiful beach that lots of people are playing on and enjoying, and that's actually part of the Waikiki beach now. And you can see kind of in the distance as we look over that there are a few things that still look a little bit similar, but for the most part, Cape Disappointment has changed vastly. Now, there was one particular display whenever we were in the Interpretive Center that explained how the landmass has changed over time. And it actually has these little pull-out slides where you could see just how much the movement of the land had happened. And part of that is because of the bars or the sandbars that are out here. And part of it is because of the jetty. And so it's kind of fascinating to see, like in person, and know just how much of a difference there is. It is fascinating, guys. So fascinating. Looking on a little bit more and exploring this, you can see the North Head Lighthouse that we are at currently. All of this coastline here kind of wraps around, and then the Cape Disappointment Lighthouse is all the way at the end of this body over here. And you are more likely to be able to see potentially the Tillamook Head than you are the Cape Disappointment because of the way that it wraps around. This explores the original GPS. The original GPS was actually a lighthouse. Long before we had Google, we had people who would sit up on the coast and direction. We had people who would sit on the coast in lighthouses like the one I'm about to show you and help ships to navigate. Their signature was 2 white flashes of light every 30 seconds. They had a day mark, which was a solid white exterior, and the black roof, and this helped mariners to be able to know exactly where they were. Now also, the interesting thing about it is, using longitude and latitude, they could tell where this lighthouse was at any given time based on the signature look and also lights that the lighthouse would project. Now, each lighthouse is a bit different, but there are some very basic elements that make these lighthouses run. And one is an oil house, which is an exterior structure that would be used to store oil and other supplies that would help to fuel the lantern and tower unit right here. And then right here we have a workroom. The workroom had a workbench, tools, supplies, and could help with any of the maintenance that needed to be done on the lighthouse at any given time. As you can imagine, this lighthouse was a lot of work, and at one point in time you would have to have 8-hour shifts rotating through between the keeper and the assistants. Also, a little while back in the 60s they actually automated this light, so this particular job became no more. It's now all done digitally and remotely. Now, if you are interested in finding out a little bit more, they do lighthouse tours between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock every day. And so check into one of those. I am just a little bit late for that today, but that's okay. We're still getting a gorgeous view. And oh my goodness, the seas are moving today. The waves are crashing, and you can see how it's just bringing water into the coastline and pounding. It's beautiful up here, but I could definitely see why a lighthouse like this one would definitely have been a necessity. Now, I think you can see from the size, this is a huge lighthouse, and probably one of the more complete structures that we have seen that has this really nice rocky surface to it. Whenever you touch it, it's almost like a smooth stone of some kind. I'm not sure what kind they used, and I hope to find out a little bit more by researching this a little, but this is amazing and very, very big. I think you can see as people are kind of cruising around it right now just how tall it is in comparison to a human. It's massive, and I do wish we could go up in it, but at the same time I completely understand. You know, it's kind of harder here in the afternoon because the fog starts rolling in pretty early a lot of times, so it has to make it kind of difficult for keeping this guy open for a long time, especially with those variables. So we're gonna head back to the van, and as we do, take in a few more of these coastal views before we wrap it up. Okay guys, we've made it back to the parking area and also to a few of the other signs. This is where you would also pay for your Discover Pass if you didn't have one, or you could go to the entry at the campground area and they'll give you a more permanent Discover Pass. All in all though, this has been a wonderful adventure. I'm glad you guys came with me. Sorry about the snakes, guys. It terrified me a little bit, but now that we've gotten over that, we saw this beautiful lighthouse and it was well worth it. If you've enjoyed coming along, make sure that you leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!